So this is Dargo. He is a single Rex, dumbo-eared hooded with a little strip on his back. Lovely rat, and he's the fat cat of his brothers. He's the big softy though. He's the one who licks you. He's not scared. He kind of lets you scratch him a bit more and things. I've had them now for almost 3 weeks. 3 weeks tomorrow. They're still quite, I wouldn't say scared of me. I mean, they'll come up to me. In fact, they just would jump out the cage when the door's open. They get really excited, especially if I've got food, of course. Dargo, come here. Come on, my boy. I'm down here. I'm down here. Yeah, but I think part of the sort of issue is that they are still kind of afraid to come out. I mean, in this particular cage, it's kind of difficult. I've just taken their hammock out because I'm going to clean them out in a minute. Hello! Hello, my boy! Who is it? It's Mummy. Yes. He's looking for me. He's looking for my face. He obviously can't see me for the tablet. But, yeah, he's the kind of brave one. He'll come out, he'll lick me, he'll sniff me, he'll let me pet him more. His two brothers who are asleep under here, that lump in the floor, that's them. His two brothers are a little bit more cautious. One of them's quite skittish, I think because he was the runt and he's used to kind of being beaten up by his brothers a bit and having to fight for things, so he's kind of not really sure of this affection. And the other one's a bit kind of like, I don't know, he's very inquisitive, but he's quite nibbly as opposed to kissy, if you know what I mean. But they'll all take food from my hands, little food like peas and bigger pieces of like lettuce and things. You know, they're all quite relaxed in that sense. But it's just getting them to come out the cage so I can clean them. It's somehow quite difficult for them. Once they're out, they're okay. They're happy to climb on me, get cuddles, and go in my hoodie pocket, climb up on my shoulder. The first time Rygel ran straight up to my head and sat on top of my head for like an hour. But yeah, today I've been trying to get them to come closer to my hand, so if I can stop confusing myself with this, yeah, it's like going in the mirror. It's just the end of some broccoli. I washed it and pulled off all the bits. This is just from them chewing it. It was like twice the size earlier, and I just had them sort of come more out to me and chew it. But at the moment they're kind of sleepy, which is why I'm cleaning around the cage a bit, just to make it quicker to clean properly later. I just have to whip the bits and pieces off, the fleece off, because I've still got to do the bottom. But you know, they chucked a bit of food out the cage and there's a bit of poo out there and stuff. Cleaned all that up. Their litter training's going fairly well. This is their massive giant litter tray. It's quite big. But Rygel seems to like sitting on it to eat things because he's a bit weird. And everyone else seems to be quite good at using it for the toilet. It took them a little while to kind of realise what they were needing to do, but I mean, once I'd put some of the poo and sort of litter from last time in it so that they could smell that's where it was, and it only took them a few days before they just started kind of going in there most of the time. They're exploring a lot more now. When I first had them for the first week, they sat on here for like 4 days. They didn't come down even to the second level, and then I started putting their food down there so that they would kind of come down. But they wouldn't go down to the third level where the water used to be. We've now put it up here so it's easier for them. But they were too scared to even go down there. Hello, Dargo. Hello, my boy. Do you want some broccoli? Hey. So he's worked out a way to just tear bits off, which earlier they all weren't able to do this. They were all just kind of like eating it straight out of my hands, which was nice, but it was from a different door anyway. Yeah, I mean, they're coming along. I think I need to get them out more to be able to play with them more and get them more used to me and more used to being held and things, but it's quite difficult because it's hard to get into this cage sometimes. The doors, that's 2 doors there. I mean, I could position things with the levels. I mean, this door is positioned so that I can get my hands straight in. There's 3 doors there, that's really good. I'll probably have to move the levels about as they get bigger anyway, but a lot of it's to do with ladders. The way the ladders need to be certain heights from the other level to sort of sit nicely. And one down there I've had to lean onto that thing, but they're quite happy to jump through that moment. But yeah, they're getting a bit braver. But it's slow. I was hoping that they'd be a bit more confident by now, but I think because there's 3 of them, they're actually kind of more just like comforting with each other, if you know what I mean. And also, they play fight a lot. I think they're still kind of establishing an alpha. They're about 11 weeks old now, so it makes them kind of let me see. I don't know if they're quite teenagers yet or not, but I mean, I haven't noticed any butt grease or anything, but they do seem to be fighting a lot more than usual. I mean, they used to just kind of pin each other down and lick each other. Now sometimes they bite each other. But they did it a lot the other night, and then they haven't really done it since. So I don't know if they have established an alpha now. Once I walked in and 2 of them had one and the other one's pinned down. And sometimes because of where this level has to sit for the ladder, as you can see, like that's as much as I can reach in there. But when I got my hands here, they'll jump up from the bottom to get food for me. And some of them will lean down here. And at one point, I had this door shut, and Crichton, who's asleep up there, he leaned down here and kind of got himself a little bit stuck, and I was about to lift him up, and then Rygel, his little brother, who is up in there as well, ran over and bit him on the tail. So of course he got freaked out and then just fell. And then the next day I noticed that Rygel was doing the same thing. He wasn't falling, but he was leaning down, and then Crichton just ran straight up and bit him on the tail. So yeah, they were bickering a bit, and I think now that everyone's had their revenge, they seem to be better. Dargo's fairly placid. He doesn't fight as much as the others. They tend to chase him, but he's obviously quite big and quite strong compared to them. They're a lot smaller, so he can kind of pin them down quite easily. But I did notice earlier when I first introduced this broccoli today, they love broccoli, but he really loves, food. So he was literally just pushing people out of the way. He's literally just putting his hands on their face and pushing them out of the way to get to the broccoli. But they didn't fight or anything. They just kind of, had to try and come back. But it was kind of funny because he was like, "No, I need it." So yeah, it's my good boy. Can't really pet him just now because obviously I've only got one hand. But yeah, so that's an introduction. Unfortunately I can't introduce you to everyone. Hey, it's my fingers. Sometimes gives me little kisses. You can take it now. You can take it. Here you go. It's for you. It's all yours. I do tend to just leave the door open sometimes when I'm here, because then they know that I'm still there, if that makes sense. Sometimes when I'm still here, maybe cleaning up or something, and I shut the door, they like run around climbing up, like looking for me. So I think like nobody's tried to jump out or anything. The only time once was when actually it was when Crichton bit down on Rygel's tail. He freaked out so much that he jumped out of the cage onto the outside and ran up, and I caught him on the top. But yeah, I think they kind of like the company. I'm going to try and get you a sneak peek of who's under here. I don't know if you can see at all. Can't see a thing. Hey! Hey there, my boy. Here's Rygel. He's got the lights terrible. That's Rygel. He's a little double Rex. He was the runt. At the moment, he's got full fur. He's really brown and sort of white underneath. Doesn't seem to be at all hairless at the moment, but he was really wispy when I got him, and he's filled out a lot. Hey, Dargo. Hello, my boy. Hey, it's Mummy. It's Mummy. You going in there too now? And Crichton, you can't really see because it's too dark. But Crichton's white with grey. They're all dumbos. Crichtons are a little bit more in between top-eared and Dumbo looking. Hello! But yeah, they've taken to going under the carpet of late. Not because they didn't like the hammock, they were in the hammock for a while and stuff. Hey, my boy. Hey, my boy. That's Dargo still. See, he's a sniffer. Oh, you're going to nip me there. He doesn't normally nip that much. He licks, but Crichton kind of nips a lot. He licked me today, which is the first time he's licked me for a while. I don't know if it's just because he's not quite adjusted to the sort of pressure and things of how heavy to go, or whether he just genuinely thinks I'm food. I don't know. Because I do tend to feed them mostly from my hands as opposed to from the bowl. I don't know if that's a mistake, but the idea was for them to come and trust me, you know. Come on, my boy. You're making such cute little noises. Hey. It's okay. Hey. Hi, Crichton. Crichton's white. He's going to definitely nibble me. Oh, I can feel him breathing on me. Crichton's white with a big grey strip across his back. He was kind of more this colour that his brothers are. Like more gooty and with a kind of grey hint to it, and now he's like a silver back. So I think that's like an age thing. He's become a teenager. Hello, are you having fun? Are you having fun, my boys? Hey, noses. Hey, noses. Hey, my little noses. It's Mummy. Yes. It's your friend Mummy. Sometimes I don't like to give them a finger. I like to hold out a whole hand because they tend to nibble individual fingers a bit more. But in some situations like this, I don't particularly want them to just run out because the doors are open and it's at this angle. They can't run out onto that. So it's quite high up off the ground. So I don't really want them to come too far out. I'm quite happy with them just sniffing me and sitting in their wee carpet. Which you know is really flat now. But yeah, I'm going to attempt to get them out and have a play and have a clean soon. But I'm going to go and grab them some food first. I'm going to try some new foods not tried before. I mean, they love broccoli, peas, certain types of lettuce. They're not keen on like spinach. I've not tried carrots yet for some reason, despite the fact I love carrots, but I just haven't had them for a while. Hey nose. Hey, Crichton. You're my boy. Yes. That nose go. I'm amazed by how independently they move their noses. Like, they're so big movements, you know. Yeah, I tried cucumber. I didn't eat any, but it was so weird. Basically they like Dargo. I put it into sort of thin slices, and Dargo picked them all up and laid them all out in a row, and then like a proper line, and then just like left them. Then he came back later and he picked them all up again, moved them to somewhere else, and put them in a straight row. But it was like he properly just lined them up amazingly. So yeah, it just kind of shows their intelligence, but I don't really know why he was doing that or what he thought it might be. But they didn't eat any cucumber. They weren't remotely interested. Same with apple. I mean, they chewed the apple, but they kind of just chewed it and were like, oh, yeah, I don't like this. I've tried a few other things. Cranberries, apparently they could have. They didn't seem keen on that, but I noticed one of them had like a red stain from it, the juice, so they'd obviously kind of tried it at least. But yeah, so far they seem open to stuff, but there's things that they don't like that I kind of thought they would, if that makes sense. Everybody loves peas. Everybody loves peas and broccoli, even more so, I think. Yes, yes, my boy. Hey, who's that? Who's that person stroking you? Who knows? Who is it, Nose? Hey. Crichton seems to be the most hidey one. I always see his nose poking out places. He was the first to kind of paint this carpet living situation. Although the hammock, I made them a hammock which was like double-sided fleece, and they bit holes in each side and went through, so they could go inside but they could also come out either side. It was quite funny. But I thought, well, maybe I should make them a hammock that's double, you know, with a layer over the top like that as well. So I was going to do that, but I actually ended up buying a hammock today. But it's not really a hammock, it's more like a tube, but it's like kind of fleecy and it's got holes so they can go out in the top or go out either end. So yeah, I'm going to go with that for a little while. But I think one thing I didn't sort of really realise when I first was getting rats is kind of how many toys they would need. I mean, they've got this chew thing which they've chewed like the tiniest bit in the bottom here. I don't know if you can see it. Actually, the lighting's pretty awful. That bit there. It's a slightly different colour. Someone has taken their teeth to that at one point. At one point only, I think. Yeah, they're keen on like just this kind of thing, like running about, going through the hole and like jumping about there. And just cardboard, just tearing cardboard to pieces. I love that. I've had other things in and out, tubes and stuff. I tried to keep some stuff just for like playtime stuff, because I don't want it all to be just boring when they come out to play. I just noticed that Crichton has a little bit of red next to his whiskers. I'm wondering if someone's scratched him or bitten him at some point. He seems to be struggling with that. He seems to be the lowest on the rung now. At first I thought it was going to be Rygel at the bottom because he's the runt, but he is a scrapper and actually is the one that has pinned down most people. But yeah, I've ordered them like this thing that's got like a hammock at the bottom and one of these like ropey ladder things and some other stuff dangling down from it that's all one thing and it just hangs, because I thought that might be kind of more interesting for them too. But yeah, I think gradually will build up, so I'm afraid they're not doing much at the moment, but yeah, with some scratches through here. Sometimes this is the best way to introduce them to being touched, because it's not as scary as just having a hand right on there. They can't see you as much, and you know, they obviously can't feel as much, and they feel the fleece and it's nice, so it's not as frightening, I think. But it's the way that I've managed to pick them up before is kind of stroking them through that and then coming under, stroking them and then getting them. They've been okay that way. But yeah, so I'm gonna go get some food and clean them out. Thanks for watching. Bye bye, Nose.